Yeah.
Hi, Jim. I just wanted to be.
We got word from Whitewater, our senior bid was denied. It was a page on it that was not signed. We have to forward tender lines bid packet to them, and they'll review that and then get back to us and we'll go from there.
And our options will be either to rebid it probably, or
I'm not sure, I thought so, I may be wrong. on
we may
that.
have to take the higher bid.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because it, you know, it was within the funding allotment. Everybody was 84,030 and we were allowed 87,200.
Okay.
We're still waiting on an answer.
Yeah, Marty.
So if we would have caught that, could we have had him sign it right then?
Once they're submitted, that's it. That's kind of stupid, but that's what they make you do.
Interesting.
I almost think that they would go through that process prior to us. You know, but this isn't the first time we've had troubles with this.
So maybe our checklist on that would include signatures. You know, when we go through it, maybe Marty can put on a little box that says signature here, signature here. But like you said, if it's not, if we can't ask for the signature while we're sitting there, that's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
But perhaps you can put it in your bid packet saying, don't forget to sign this. Don't forget to sign this. You know, I don't know. Exactly.
Yeah, it stinks. It's
exactly.
Well, I think there was some frustration on their part. It sounds like some things have changed from the last time they submitted a bid to now, and they keep changing things on it, so I think they're a little frustrated with that.
That's a fair assessment.
IDOT should have to put out a checklist of what they expect.
I agree fully, but if they're not going to, I guess.
I'm afraid we're going to get to the point nobody's going to bid on it anymore. It's too big of a pain in the neck for them.
and the sad thing is it might be 30,000 more than it would.
Yeah, you know, there's $34,000 difference on those two bids. It's
Yeah.
quite good.
Okay, something's got to fix.
I did receive some information back from the state grant office. Any grants we could apply for on that Greens Road, we're probably at least 2 years out on them. And I think we need to do something sooner rather than later. I reached out to Mr. Hibbert again last week to see if there's something a little more immediate that we could access. I'm still waiting to hear back from him. I'm not sure exactly what options would be there. As far as what we can do, not our only option to go out there and pull shoulders on, you know, if we go a couple miles of it, you know, and see what that's going to do. I got Tim was pulling a little bit of material up on the real bad spots, and I was out there this morning, and it's certainly not hurting it. You know, just to spot gravel the bad spots is $154,000 in gravel. That's more than my whole gravel budget for a year. It's not really worth it for us to try to patch on it. I didn't think, unless you guys have a different thought.
How can we get in front of the state board of the 5 and say, is there a way to go after emergency?
There is no emergency.
There isn't any, well,
It didn't come in the supplemental budget. They didn't pass the supplemental budget.
so then what good does it do you to be 2 years out on any grant whatsoever? And you never know what the future's gonna hold on any of your roads.
It's a very good question. But I guess what you do is you do a plan, and you know that you're going to do that in 2027. And but you have a good point, because I mean we're looking at old Highway 85 that just keeps dragging on and dragging on. But I think it's appropriate to apply. But if there's no funding, I guess you wait till next year.
Kind of frustrating, we can't even access the paperwork for the next grant cycle. It would be nice if we could at least get that, and we could be working on that. And if there's preliminary engineering that needs to be done ahead of time, that could all be done now. Kind of frustrating.
Mr. Chairman? I'm not too sure, Jimmy, you couldn't do preliminary engineering anyway. It's not going to change. I mean, the 2 years of wear on it, yes, it will deteriorate quickly under it, but engineering of the road is still engineering of the road. And I'm not too sure you couldn't have that done and ready to go and you know, back burner it, and then you don't have to wait when you fill out your application because you already have it. You might have to update your costs for it. I mean, because everything's going up and it seems to get crazy. But I think as a proactive, you could have that and just file it the minute they open that up.
Yeah, I'm sure the engineer's probably going to want an idea how much we're going to want to spend on it, you know. Because you get kind of like an idea of what, you know, how big a project we're looking at before we start. So, I mean, does that change if we go from grant money to county road fund money? You know, is it going to slow down what we want to do?
What do we got for bad spots on Greaves Road? I got a call here last week, and a constituent was suggesting to come down and drive that. He says now's a good time if you want to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
the thing is
when it's glad, and it's from the highway to the fin station is 10 miles, and there's at least 5.5 miles of those just spots.
Just I mean, it's not all. I mean,
No,
bad
you know,
spots.
there are spots in it that are, we've been patching that for 10 years, and it's not working. That road, it needs to be pulled in and reshaped and completely resurfaced. It's been 20 years.
If we put $150,000 worth of gravel on it, that changes the dynamics of, like you're saying, of how do you write a grant for something to your, I don't know, or how do you go after funding for something if you're constantly dumping money into it and not knowing what you're actually going to be fixing in 2 years?
Well, I think what you do for the grant is you go to rebuild the road. And so what we're doing right now is just trying to maintain the road so that it's passable. But he goes for, or this county goes for,
Full rebuild.
a full rebuild of the road, just as it was done 20 years ago.
And it was, you know, it was a total rebuild. I don't think they did culverts. I know the cattle cars weren't replaced. It was mainly just what we need to do now, pull the road and get it back to the correct width and then resurface it.
So if you're still of that persuasion that the cattle guards don't have to change and the culverts don't have to change, that's certainly, I mean,
And that makes a huge difference.
huge difference, huge difference. And so I think that all could be preliminarily done with your, even have your red line, and if the state requires you to update the red line, fine, right? Well, but if you have to put your hydrology studies and everything in it, get those done prior to. And when they pull the plug, I mean, you'll be first one in and make sure that we know so that we can go down there and you know, fight that battle with you. And have pictures.
Okay.
What are our options, if any, on the Greaves Road, like pretty much currently? I mean, are we talking like, you mentioned 2 years, I'm sure, I mean, if it's beat up now, 2 years from now it's gonna be worse, but what are our options presently?
Well, you know, I think we could take a couple of blades out there and pick, say, a bad spot that's a couple miles long and make a good shoulder pull on it, and then one of the mulchers on it and see how it turns out. I don't think we're gonna hurt it.
Part of that Cheyenne River Road's in the same shape down by, from that old grave marker out there to about the bridge.
On the trip.
Lynch Road, sorry, yeah. And there's how many miles of Buffalo Creek to 8 almost?
Yeah, and the north end of that is bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody's familiar with that. Part of that we maintain is in Craig County. And it's kind of a maintenance trade-off agreement we do with them. They do part of the Thornton and part of Arch Creek. for us. And I did reach out to the Cook County Superintendent this morning. We kind of discussed the dynamics of change. You know, when we went into that agreement, whenever it was, there was no oil field traffic on that road, and that has changed, and that's what's destroyed that road. And he's going to visit with his commissioners either today or tomorrow, and he thinks they probably wouldn't have a problem helping us out. He thought maybe they could piggyback onto our county road fund project and give us some help on the damage on them. So
Yes, Marty?
So maybe we can build a new MOU on that.
I don't even think one exists. I think it's just
Then we shall have one.
I found it was just a verbal agreement. There was no signing of anything, no contract, nothing. It was verbally done in 86. So
Probably.
I'll have to look again because I found it.
So I went out and measured all the roads. We're doing 3.9 miles of Cook County Road, and they're doing 2.1 miles, I think, of Weston County Road. So we're kind of in the rears there, but I do understand some of that, why they're doing it. But maybe Jimmy and these guys, and I visited with Fred Devish on last Saturday, but maybe they can come up with a deal like where if it needs gravel, you provide the gravel to your section of the county road and we'll still maintain it. But, or at least try to come up with something that help out with that, which I'm glad you reached out to them. It's great.
And Morgan said they do kind of the same thing with Campbell County places, and he does have an agreement with them. So maybe we can take a look at that, see exactly what they're doing. But he didn't think they would have a problem, helping us on this. I think we're going to have to gravel it all the way to the highway. I swear, if we don't, we're going to be tracking mud on the stuff with gravel.
I'm assuming that's the language, right? We've got a 3.9 and a 2.1 to finish off, so we don't have to haul a blade over there and do 2 miles. Is that kind of what the agreement is?
Yeah,
Okay.
Buffalo Creek starts in Weston County, ends in Cook County. And our Thornton Road, it starts in Weston and ends in Crook, and the same with Large Creek, and it saves both sides a lot of running around.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, and visiting with Fred, he seemed real copacetic to we working something out too. So I think they understand that we have some issues in funding in Weston County.
I think Morgan's also going to reach out to the oil company that's drilled on that north end, put the hand out with them, see if there's anything on them too. We can count on it.
Anything else, Jimmy?
Our guys were doing a little bit of shoulder pulling in places. It's slow, but it's helping some of the roads. People don't always like it. If you don't run a water truck, it's a lot of loose material on the road, and then you get rain on it, it's a mess. But it does eventually firm up, but it's worth it over time.
I noticed some pretty good improvement on the one you're going out south right now.
Yeah, it's helping. So
Yeah.
I pulled up yesterday, wasn't a lot of gravel.
Yeah.
So it does clean your drainage up, and we're years behind on it. We've got to get going on it. It would help a lot of these roads out.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else for Jimmy? Good.
Anything on the first couple miles of Morrissey on the north side? We got to call on that one too. It's getting pretty potholed up.
Yeah, and you're very blighted for not too long ago, and it's mag, so it'll have, it's gonna be wet and blighted. I know we've had moisture, but it's kind of got everybody scattered around.
Right. Can we cut that mag down after it's packed in like that, or are we just filling potholes? Are we just rolling back, or is it? We bladed it once this spring already, but I mean that thing doesn't look like it's been touched.
Yeah.
It just blew out.
Yeah, we just have to reblade it. There again, it's got spots on it, but maybe it's some gravel, they don't hold it down.
Well, Marty, I was visiting with Marty, your secretary, the other day. She put it pretty bluntly. She said, there's really only about 10 days in a 365-day cycle where the road is good to actually be blading it.
Well, yeah.
And how do you stretch that over 500 miles?
You go to T Squares Blade Schools and the title you show will be blading, you grab a handful of material and it sticks. Well, yeah, Wyoming, you've got 2 or 3 days you can do that.
Yeah, my phone's been ringing quite a bit too over issues county and the county. And I guess you're on it, I know.
Well, it's all we think.
Yeah, I try to keep up. But I think maybe that's something we need to look at in county road funds if we need to buy gravel. We can figure that out.
Yeah, I think if there is a way to give us extra money in our budget for gravel, I think we have to take it from every.
There was also a consideration, and Jim probably knows what I'm talking about. That's down. I don't know if he was talking off the Roxon Road or it would have been southwest, but they were using some. I think it was over there on that. Is it Forest Service property or something? Aren't they? Don't they? What are they using on that road? Because it's not like purchased gravel. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's some type of. I don't know if it's just available down there, or I think they were using it on that Forest Service.
Yeah, Scoria maybe.
Yeah, but it's not that.
In addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.
It's some type of. I don't know if it's just available down there, or I think they were using it on that Forest Service.
Yeah, Scoria maybe.
Yeah, but it's not that. But that was brought up. I don't know if they got quite a bit piled up down there somewhere on there.
Years ago, the county had a lot of pits scattered.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting to.
That way, if we had to pay for work on it, it's a nightmare.
Right. Some of them that were driving that road said that it made a good road though, and back down good, so didn't know if that was an option.
Anything you can find that's cheap and close.
Yeah, right.
That's the problem with those things, or like Buffalo Creek, Lynch Road, it's enormous and expensive
Right.
to haul.
Long way
It
down.
takes forever, especially running 2 trucks.
Yeah.
Anything else from you? Thank you. Sorry that you're dealing with the headaches too.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner scholarship. Word appointment. No, we're gonna do that when we get to, let's do the commissioner scholarship so we can get on brand.
Okay, so I don't have Garrett's picks, so I'll need those, I will plug them in.
Okay. So, you wanna work on those, Garrett, while we do board appointment? Or do we wanna just call Brandon and it's he's scheduled for
Public Brandon.
maintenance update?
Is it out
I don't know.
there? He should be.
Fine.
Little buddy, come here.
Where'd you get the mud from?
I'll plant up those thorny bushes over the library.
There's no mud. You're kidding.
So you guys have copies of the stuff in your folders. Powder overheating, air conditioning, and
Mostly, it looks like,
it says
except for the parts
pressure
that they want,
valve
that says copper parts. and I'm looking into what happened over at the public health building. I found a spec sheet on the tank that was in there, and it says it shouldn't be used in a fire sprinkler system. So I talked to Mike, and Becky's looking up where she can find the contracts from when that place was built, because Mike says he needs those contracts.
Haven't found anything, so I don't think it would be in the contracts when it was built. I think it would be in whoever installed it.
Whoever put in the fire system, but that would have been when it was built. It would have been installed.
And I don't have any of them. That was way before my time.
You have any idea on that, on mine?
Well, Brandon said
2007.
So is when they moved in.
So it would have been
So-
finished in 06, like the end of
05 or
06.
06.
You know, Mr. Chairman, there was an issue with the HVAC system. You know, they kept having problems with.
We got that figured out. No,
Oh, way back when too.
Oh, this was just, it's been happening since I started. They had problems with that HVAC. The fire sensor, I finally got a guy out and he found that there were screws loose inside of that sensor that he tightened up, and it's been fixed since.
But prior to that, so I'm wondering, I mean, they always had problems right at the beginning with that, and probably with the problem with.
It was that sensor, because
Yes.
I pulled the furnace apart and pulled out the catch that gets the dust in it to set that sensor off, and it was clean. But that was a guy she's been calling out of Sheridan that came down. I'm not sure. It wasn't Rapid Fire. But they didn't install it, I know that. And I'm not sure if Western States installed it or not. That's why we'd probably need the contract to see what company actually did the installation of the fire suppression system.
Which was probably whoever the general was, hired him for it. So, I don't know if we can even figure out who the general contractor was on it.
I mean, if there's I can go and check to see if there's a track like there is at the library and stuff where they actually have it listed who the contractors were.
That's interesting that there's no plans or anything for that. Do they have them?
I can go ask, but I don't think so. There's not even plans for that fire suppression, like the blueprints for it. Rapid Fire is trying to get from Western States. There's a whole rigmarole with that too. Like whoever installed it didn't leave the plans like they should have.
And they're not in our big vault downstairs in our big green thing.
That, no. That's just lots.
At the end of the day, we're out a couple $1,000, so like it's not,
Well, then plus it's going to be the repair and the refitting of the
That's
glycol.
just the cleanup. That's not repairing the actual
the system.
system.
Because I was thinking if we could figure out who did it, then we could at least have them pay for the repair and the refill.
potentially, yeah. I mean, it makes you wonder though, I guess the sticky part is if that's not a proper tank for that system, maybe that's
It's
why
not, because
it failed.
our pressure in that system is 90 psi. That tank's rated at 80. And there's a note on its spec sheet that says no, not to be used in fire sprinkler system due to NFPA 13 and 13D or something like that.
That's crazy.
Took me two Google searches to find it.
So who do we,
Yeah, who do I contact to figure out who?
is there any way to find out who the general was on it? So we look back
We
and,
looked all through the computer and there's no.
it was built in 05 or 06.
They moved in January of 07, so we're assuming that it was 05 or 06. Because you wouldn't think you'd have built it years before and left it empty.
My dad, a commissioner, or Ted, they probably wouldn't remember who the general was.
Ted would have been a commissioner.
This is Andy again. I actually found a bunch of manuals and stuff, so I will go through them with Brandon and we'll see if we can find the general contractor on that.
Awesome.
That would be cool.
Thank you.
Andrew, you gonna be available here after this afternoon by chance?
Yes, I'm available after 12:30.
Any way you could come here?
Yep, I can
Okay.
come there.
I don't know what time, but I will call you or text you.
Okay, I'll be available between 1 and 2 only, unfortunately. Both those times work.
How urgent is your, grant?
It needs the PHRC one.
Yeah.
We are the only county that hasn't turned it in. It was actually due last month and they gave us a grace period.
Okay.
Does she have any ideas about it? We don't want to talk about it.
I don't know. Brandon, are you free for a few minutes? Can we talk?
We can come in at 1 o'clock. You want me to come in at 1?
Can you talk right now?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Marty, could you kind of, so, can you tell us what the amendment is? It's an amendment to, I guess, there's some confusion on, to actually what we're signing up on this amendment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there is a lot of confusion on that because honestly, it shouldn't be something that we should have to sign. It's basically, they just added statement of work pieces to what we're already doing. So it just added mandatory training that we had to complete, which I have already completed mine, and then some different exercises that we have to do. And we already have held 3 of the 5. So because of the additions, that's why they brought it back to the county commissioners. Really, there's no
I kind of thought
reason why it said guys, but that's what they did.
I kind of thought that was maybe the case. Secondarily, there's literature in this grant that I don't have in front of me now that says that the recipient will be required to
10% match.
10% match.
So that's what we do every year, and that match is just my time and Michelle's time because we're state employees. So any meetings that I attend is that 10% match. I also use the office here that Mandy uses, so that's part of that. And then I do have storage over at the fire department, so we're always well over a 10% match for the county. So that's taken care of every single year.
Okay.
It's no money out of our pocket. I mean, I should say no money that we're handing over. It's the office space, the storage space that the county owns, and then mine and Michelle's time attending meetings.
That's how you're, okay, meeting those requirements.
And that'll be the same when Kristen's CHO contract comes across. That 10% is my wages, Shelley's, and then the 2 offices and storage spots.
Okay. Go ahead, Marty.
So, would it be possible when these come in that you come in and explain to us what the amendment is before we get to this point where we're wishing we could wonder why we're not signing it?
Yeah, absolutely. And this hasn't happened in the past. This happened in October, and they added all this statement of work that we needed to complete. Like I said, we've already been working on it since October. It's just more to the workload for Mandy, myself, and Michelle. It's just attending trainings.
That helps a lot. Thank you, Angie. We're going to revisit it this afternoon, so we just needed some questions.
Sure. If you guys need me to come back at 1, just let me know and I will come on in.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Brandon, I apologize. It's been messed up. Might as well throw my agenda out of the window at this point. So, we were discussing the fire suppression system, so maybe with what she has, maybe.
I'll look through and
Okay.
see if there's any contracts that we
Okay.
can figure it out.
That'd be great.
So we still don't go for insurance or what?
I don't know yet at this junction.
I'm still waiting for Rapid Fire to get back to me with a quote on what it's gonna cost to fix. We were already gonna replace the glycol,
Right.
so just the tank, I wouldn't think it would be more than 1,000 or 2,000, I would think.
Oh, okay.
There's no way we'll turn it into insurance. Our deductible's 25,000, so unless something dramatic
It was only
happens-
2,000 for the cleanup, and then I glued their baseboards back, and there's no drywall damage.
And that doesn't add to our deductible, does it?
Not if you don't put a claim in.
And the hope might be that if somebody screwed up and put the wrong
Tank in.
tank in, then maybe we could say, hey,
They could reimburse for
Yeah.
the cleaning and then pay for the fix.
yeah.
I was just trying to see if there's a way we get the county back more money.
I appreciate it.
No, I think that's great.
Unless that tank costs.
I would.
I wouldn't think so. It's because it's the same type of tank like you have on a boiler system.
Is it an expansion tank or what is it?
It's an extension. That tank is just not rated for fire suppression systems because it only goes to 80 psi, and our sprinkler system holds 90.
So in your spare time, would you go check it out?
We don't have a fire we don't have one at the library. The expansion tank's on the boiler.
About in here.
I'm talking about the one right over there.
Oh, our fire suppression system isn't glycol. No, our boiler is not the fire suppression system. So we don't have an expansion tank on the fire suppression system. It's just straight water.
Okay, you're on record.
I go and look at it every morning.
That's all that matters.
Gosh, imagine the damage that happened. Okay.
I did. We saw it.
Yeah.
When the toilet went.
Yes.
Is there any precautions that we should take in addition to knowing that our suppression system is down right now?
It's not now.
It's not down.
It's just not glycol.
Okay.
So it still has water feed, and the glycol part in the expansion tank is shut.
Okay. So it is functionable.
It's functionable,
Okay.
and then we're not going to freeze anymore,
Right.
so that's not a worry.
Right, gotcha.
Well, let's just keep it on the front burner so that we have something. Because these things have a tendency to go poof.
Disappear?
Mhm.
No, I'll keep looking into it.
Appreciate it.
And then do you guys want to glycol the library or not?
This deal. You guys, I think about the company. And the glycol is freeze protection, right?
On the boilers, yes. So we don't have another incident where the heaters are busted and we lose power. But now it would be, if we had an extended power loss is what it would be for. Because they fix the drivers to where they come back on with power out and back on. Quick power outage, this would be an extended power outage. Is what it would be for. Because they fix the drivers to where they come back on with power out and back on. Quick power outage, this would be an extended power outage.
By rights, I mean, if everything's up and functionable, even in the dead of winter, you're not gonna have a freezing issue.
Not unless we have an
Yes.
extended power outage.
Right.
And knowing fate as I do, you'll have one. So
Yeah, and a boiler system breaking at the library could be really, really bad. If one of the VAVs froze up and let go, then you got water coming from the ceiling on both.
Mr. Chairman, let's put this on our budget
Yep.
request type things. And look at that because we are going into the summer months.
Right.
It'd be easy enough to put it in. And probably,
Yeah, we got 60 days on this bid.
right, so we'd be rolling into that.
As of March 18th. So we got
10 days. Yes.
I'm sure I can talk to Ryan and see, push that out. That's probably just their standard.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure.
Couple things that I appreciate, the exposure of the 30 gallons of glycol and also the 6-gallon feeder. Necessary labor to complete. I don't know, hourly rate, hours of completion, anything like that. I mean, if we're gonna be pushing it down the road just a little bit, we can get, how much feeder piping material are we actually using, footage, hours of the labor.
Okay.
If that can be specified a little bit anyway, we can kind of double whammy it here.
No problem.
So what was it that we had a conversation about, some bid that Nick was looking at that,
I sent out, before I even sent out that bid sheet, Mason had backed out. After I sent out the bid sheet, Farnsworth backed out. So I called Nick to see if they would be willing to bid it. And I've also got Hurricane Services bidding.
do you feel comfortable being the guy that says, this is an NA, this is an NA, this is an NA on this bid sheet process? Or do you
Yeah.
feel like you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because when Nick, I had a conversation with Nick about it, and there's a lot of stuff that he's like,
It's a lot of that is more like if you as a commission were wanting a specific project done and we knew exactly what you wanted done, then that would go out with a scope of work for them to look at and come back with their bid request fulfilling all of your scope of work.
yeah, okay. Okay.
And then the other question was, let's say you did approve the dig out on the library. At the bottom of your thing says that I have to get all change orders approved before we can move forward, okay? So we've got an 8-foot hole beside the library and we run into something that's, say, a $300 change. Am I waiting 2 weeks with an open pit next to the library to get that change approved?
I mean, those are the good questions that need to be.
Right, I mean, I'm not.
And we address them
Yeah.
as such.
And I think,
I know I sound excitable, I'm really not.
and we discussed a little bit of that, like if maybe a authority of like the chairman or vice chair or whatever it is, if it's something small like that, I don't know, it could be the permission of the board, I guess, to allow even you probably, if it's under $2,000 or $1,500, whatever, to move forward. But I mean, it makes sense to not be ridiculous and wait 2 weeks with an open pit. And,
I agree with that too, putting some type of a dollar amount. I mean, that's
Right.
really what it is. Up to a certain dollar amount is going to be approved or can be. By considering that and being wise on the front side, a lot of times that approval can save a lot of things. If the work has to stop and then they have to, re-transport equipment or something like that at a later date, then we're noticing, mileage fees, fuel fees, stuff like that, just like we saw this morning. That can come in on the backside. We could probably save the money by putting that dollar amount of approval there.
there was also something about change order. Did we have?
That's what
That's
we
what
were
that
just talking
is.
about.
Yeah, but wasn't there two?
All it says was change orders must be approved by the commission prior to.
And then I thought Nick's made the comment to me that it also says no change orders somewhere else in the same.
It might.
I can't remember. You got a copy of it? She's gonna go get the final one.
That's a wonderful name, isn't it?
Oh, it doesn't say that. I'll have to visit with Nick again and see. There's something on here that Nick saw that he didn't thought was redundant, but I'll visit with him, I guess. But, okay. So, wait on the glycol library. Okay.
Sounds good. And I'll get in touch with them. You said man hours and parts.
Yeah, just how
Labor
much
rate.
feeder pipe material and hourly, I mean, I can figure out the hourly rate, I just need to know how many hours for completion on labor.
Okay.
And thank you for all this too.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yes, thanks.
Because it gives
Appreciate
the
it.
warranty and everything.
All right. Are we ready to do board appointment?
So,
What page are we on?
We're on a messed up agenda.
so now, I guess you can look at all of them and then we'll discuss it. Why are you looking at them? I'm not.
So Caleb Carter is interested in joining the Mal Camp Board. Eric Craigle is interested in the Mal Camp Board.
How many seats on that?
Sorry?
How many seats on the Mel
I'm
Camp?
not sure.
I
about
think
that.
on the sign out there,
Is there 2 open positions?
I can go check for you real quick,
Thank you.
Thank you.
at least what's on the door.
Eric Craigle is also interested in the Predator Board. Which has some interesting requirements.
Very interesting.
Tom Bruce is interested be reappointed to the Child Support Authority Board.
It says planning has 2, Mallow only has 1.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I have one at the top. Mallow 1, Bear 1, Predator 1.
So
But
is Eric Craigle, is he a livestock owner?
No,
Is the opening position for a livestock owner or is it for a predator,
it is
sportsman,
public.
member of the public? Okay.
And the weed and pest one, their board always brings us what this is, and then you guys approve it. But are we to that yet? Yep.
So there's 3 openings on their board.
4. And, I'm not, I don't know why, normally they just reappoint, and one they didn't, and I have an email to them asking where the other person is, so I don't know if they just missed bringing it to us, or if that person did not choose to be reappointed by our board.
So I like these. I mean, if Eric's interested in either Predator or Mallow, we've got another Mallow for Caleb.
Yeah, they just kept.
It's interesting. All of a
We don't have
sudden,
any,
yeah.
and now we have all these.
It's good.
Really good,
Wow.
yeah. And the one Tom is just,
He's been on there forever.
So nothing like last it changed.
That's the kind of problem you want.
Yeah.
I just had to keep changing it on the agenda. What the heck?
Okay, so 3 for Weston House.
Taylor Tabiji, Scott Sewell, I think was the other one.
No. And
And,
Weed dust.
yeah,
There's 3.
Come on, come on.
Marty's not
you're
gonna.
making me.
Clay Branscombe,
Yeah, Clay Branscombe.
I saw it.
I'm like, I don't even remember. It's been so long since we got it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
in our audit, we never can get, and I use never because that's the way it works, a report from the Fair Foundation, nor can we get it from WeedPath.
No, we do have theirs.
Do we get this
Always, yes. They always bring us theirs.
in our audit?
Yeah, it's not, theirs doesn't have to be in our audit.
I think he always comments
No.
about WeedPath.
I don't think Weed and Pest because that's state,
It's
they're funded.
Not the Predator Board, we can pass.
Library Foundation and Friends of Fair.
Yeah, Weed and Pest is also,
The library is, we do.
Weed and Pest is similar to the Predator Board. It's state funded instead of paid through the county mill.
But we have their audit in their drawer. They always bring us a copy of their audit.
But I thought there was always a question and never something happened in that way. I'd have to go look again, because I thought it was Weed and Pest. Because in his first article, in his letter. Anybody have it?
Yeah, I don't remember him bringing it up this last. I had it in my hands last night and I left it at my house.
And if he does, he must just not know where to look because they bring us theirs every year. They were one of the first ones to bring it to us.
But I'm sure that I'm not saying that they don't bring an audit, I have not, but I'm pretty sure that there's been comments. Because the library board always put theirs in, but the Friends of Fair don't.
The library doesn't include their foundation. No, ever.
The library has their foundation and the Predator Board, or the Friends of Fair has theirs.
And we don't know the amount of it either.
I think we're talking two separate things here. Wish I had it.
I need a clarification again. So the member board only has one opening,
But two applications.
but two applications.
Yep.
Oh, I do have it. Right there.
You found your Leo Riley deal, Marty?
Right there.
Yep, I was looking at that stuff.
You guys go on and look at it.
So,
We do these one at a time then?
If you want.
Yes. Let me read this. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects. The respective financial position of the governmental activities, the aggregate discretely presented component units. Are you guys staying with me here? Yeah. Except for the effects of the omission of Weston County Weed and Pest and the Weston Friends of Fair from the component units.
He just must not know that it's there. I don't have to put it in.
But I know that's been for years, that's been those two. So, I just thought, well, this is a moment where we can have, we should bring us, become part of this.
Maybe because he doesn't audit them in
No,
their
that's
own audit.
It says the financial data for the Weston County Weed and Pest has not been included in the component units of the statement of net position and the statement of activity. Accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America require that all component units of the entity be included in the reporting entity. This amount by which this departure would affect the asset, liability, fund balances, revenues, and expenditures of the component units in the statement of net position and statement of activity is not reasonably determinable.
so
And I wonder why.
when we have no oversight over their
Yeah.
board or their funding activities, what's any difference than saying the school district isn't providing something because they're getting county funds too?
Or the fire district. Why would Weed and Pest be included in ours?
I don't know.
They have their own, just like Daniel has his own.
But this has been for years that they've never done that. Same with the Friends of the Fair.
So I'll ask him, why would Weed and Pest even be included in his wording?
I understand the Friends of the Fair because it's money's getting allocated into the county, whatever, but.
I'll shoot him that email next week. Why he would even include that in. I don't think Weed and Pest.
So,
Anyway, there's just my,
Pointed.
I'm just gonna use a little extortion.
Is that your extortion face?
So we do these
Sure,
one
yeah,
unit at a time?
Probably.
I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Tom Bruce to the Child Support Authority Board.
Second.
Okay, proper second, the motion made for Tom Bruce to be reappointed. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? He's done that for a long time.
Long.
So we got a decision on the Mallow/Predator Board. It appears to me that Mr. Craigle qualifies if he is in fact putting in as a member of the public.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we place Mr. Craigle on the Predator Board.
Second.
On the properly seconded motion to appoint Mr. Craigle to the member of the public position on the Predator Board. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm an aye.
I'm going to move this for discussion purposes. Mr. Chairman, I move that we appoint Caleb Carter to the Mallow Camp Board.
Second.
Properly seconded motion to appoint Caleb Carter to the Mallow Camp Board. Discussion.
My discussion is that he does have he has a vested interest in the fact that they have the Black Hills Natural Resource Camp. I don't always see that as a problem, but I think if we had our little conflict of interest thing, if he would sign that and be sure that he didn't vote on those issues when the fees came up. I don't always see that as a problem, but I think if we had our little conflict of interest thing, if he would sign that and be sure that he didn't vote on those issues when the fees came up, any type of that, if we can perhaps write him a letter or let him know that we expect.
Yep. We'll add that to old business for the next meeting so we get that done. The conflict of interest. We'll drop that any farther down.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on Mr. Carter's appointment to the Mallow Camp Board? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We passed.
Are there 3 positions open?
Yes.
I'll ask somebody else because I'm still curious on my thing.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Clay Branscombe, Taylor Tavici, and Scott Sewell to the Weed Pest Control District Board.
Second.
Any discussion on the 3 appointees to the Weed and Pest Board? Hearing none, I will ask for dessert. Excuse me if I'm having a brain.
I should mention the head of that thing.
Yeah.
Really sure.
All those in favor of appointing the 3 individuals to the Weed and Pest Board, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Apologies, it's been a long morning. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, could we put on all the business and ask Paul why?
yep. It does seem odd to me. But he probably has some reason.
It was on Vicky's too.
Yeah.
It was on a prior one that we had.
Credit card pre-authorization for the module for the pickup or road and bridge. And then also one from Gilbert for training, well, TVs, it appears.
Sorry, Becky.
They're right there.
Gilbert's wanting 2 TVs for training in his new office and the new EOC and a Samsung computer monitor to have updated one to add 2 cameras. Go ahead.
Where's our new office?
Apparently not in here anymore.
He said he's moving to the sheriff's office.
Is that news to us, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah. Is there TVs in his current office?
I thought, Mr. Chairman, I thought we spent a lot of money on COVID funding for things like that. I would like an inventory. And I'm a little interested in the movie.
I believe we've discussed it here and there, talking about the possibility of using that room for jury selection and things like that when we have a bunch of people, or just having the extra space. And now that,
did you pass a motion for it?
no, we've just discussed it. Nothing's been, but I think it was kind of, I don't know if anybody actually officially discussed it, but as dispatch left that building, then there would be room for him. That's all I know.
No, I agree. Both of you are correct. Nothing has been officially done, and there was discussion 6 months ago probably about they were trying to find a place for jury folks. And when I walked in, when that jury was going on, I walked in the back door with Brian downstairs. People were sitting on the floor all over the place. And so, yeah, sure.
One other thing is they've got a backup generator too. I don't know if that had any part of, they probably added to this decision for that building.
Could be. So, I guess it's, Gilbert was on there just a little bit ago, but something's out. Go ahead, Marty.
So fill me in. Well, I got it. Thank you. You don't need to. Okay, I got my copy. Fill me in. What does Gilbert have that would need the backup? The generator.
Communications, I don't. Everything's electronic anymore, so I would assume anything communications wise. I was assuming you were asking me. I don't know.
I'm just asking anybody.
Oh, okay.
I'm just asking. And my other question is, at one time I remember that there was going to be, well, there was a discussion of moving all that communications over there, but the cost was prohibitive because it's on the roof of this building. So when we start doing this, then the subsequent fallout from that is that, are these now going to be moved to the other building? Or can those be utilized? Because the time before, which was a while ago, and the world does change, the cost was prohibitive to move them.
And that might have been before my time on the board. I don't remember
It was a while ago.
having
It
those
was
conversations.
The antenna.
yes. So my question is, what are the, unseen consequences of doing just something that looks so simple as moving someone when they have an established area And I fully understand with the jury, but juries, thank you, please, knock on wood, whatever we have to do. But we don't have lots of jury trials. But withholding a room when it's okay to have it here, and everything is hooked up in here. I just don't know what the unforeseen consequences.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having a visit with him. Why does this need to be a prepaid necessarily too?
Exactly.
So let's,
Mr. Chairman, I would like an inventory. And then I would like the discussion of what's the advantage of going over there?
let's,
And what are some costs that are going to happen?
I don't know. Did he give you any indication on why you needed a prepay for it? Because you're right, this could snowball into other problems, and what else is gonna need to, what, the cost of moving, what is this looking like? I mean, if it's just 2 TVs at this juncture, what else is going to?
And if he has it in his budget, why are we doing it prepaid?
Yeah, what's the urgency?
Not moving yet,
And what's the urgency?
right?
So,
2 years from
how
now.
about this module for this pickup for Road and Bridge? So I'd entertain a motion for the $100 for Mr. R's auto salvage, to get this part that he cannot find anywhere else.
So moved.
Second.
Got a property second motion on the floor for prepaid to Road and Bridge. All those, sorry. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Secondarily, we have a credit card pre-authorization request for emergency management. What would we like to do with that?
Is that the one we just talked about?
Mhm.
I'd like to, if you want to put a motion out there, it's going to be a no for me.
No, I have questions too, so I have no problem tabling this until putting on new business. Yes, ma'am. Or if we're not even tabling.
I don't know if I'd even table it. I might, just put the motion and
Just do
tell
it.
us no
Just do a deny on.
and deny,
Okay.
if that's what the will of the board is. And that conversation can come back up. So, Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
I move, this always seems weird, but that's okay. I move to approve the credit card pre-authorization for emergency management in the amount of no total.
I got a calculator, tell me to figure it out. $1272.98.
For that amount?
Okay.
Second.
It's been said properly seconded. Discussion. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
I'm a no too. Okay.
See why you have to ask for no's?
I didn't hear any ayes. Marty. You're making it even longer, aren't you? Okay. Add that to new business. Would you please, Becky?
Sure.
Tax roll corrections. We have one tax roll correction. Here's. What's this one? It's
That's all together. All
First manila folder back.
Oh, yeah, infield discovery, okay.
It's quite a system I have.
First, I put that on the agenda, I was like, that wasn't even
And a reduction of $1,098.
I have such a mess here.
Part of the problem.
Right there, where is it? It wasn't. Oh, I'm good at this.
Random paper clips.
I don't know where they go to. I've lost.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the tax roll cancellation. Let me try to start again. I apologize. Mr. Chairman, I move to allow for the signatures of the Board of County Commissioners with the tax roll collection for Infield Discovery LLC in the amount of, oh, wait a minute. It's a negative 7961.
Motion on the floor.
I got it, thanks.
You can have a sign it though.
Oh, is that the original?
Second. Thank you, Garrett. Is there any discussion? Make the motion on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. You know, this is what happens when we don't have lunch.
Oh my God, my head.
It was long. It's been a long journey.
Okay, Commissioner Scholarship. What do we got, Becky?
Okay,
I can't hear
so
anything.
the 3 scholarships will be awarded to, because we had one, Rhett Watt is not going to a Wyoming college. He accepted to Rocky Mountain College, which is in Billings.
Billings, or I think I looked it up as Loveland, Colorado.
Oh, the one I had was, anyways, it's an out of state.
not here.
So I
It's from
adjusted
Montana.
everyone's.
The Montana one.
Okay. So, Taylor Conklin, Breely Materi, and Liliana Barton are the 3 winners of the new scholarships. And the renewal scholarship goes to JJ Lip. And the backup scholarship award winners are Jaden Corley, Trevin White, and Raja Dutcher, and the renewal backup is Emma Gustav. So I will get the certificates ready. Who would like to present Newcastle's?
Do we need a motion on it?
Probably. Which I don't know why, because it ain't even our money.
It's not our money.
So maybe
No.
we don't need a motion.
It's not. They're awarded by the university. You guys just have to do your picks, and then I get the certificates ready, which are provided by the university, and then you guys just have to present them.
I've
Up
done
and
the
then,
last 2 years and I'd like to do it, but I don't know that I will be able to do it. I want to do it next year.
And I've done the Upton one for years. If somebody else would like to do the Upton one, we'll be able to.
Voting, I'm like,
Even you could do it.
I'm,
It makes sense for you to do it.
yeah, you're the only
Yeah,
one up there.
it does make sense for you to do it.
but I don't want to make it feel like it. I mean, I enjoy doing it for the Upton kids just because I know them, but
It's good.
if somebody else
It's
would grab it,
appropriate.
I would be okay with that.
I just
feel
need,
like-
I'll let them know this afternoon who, so that they can update
Would
their.
you like to do it this year?
What day did it? What day did it?
Like the next week, that's why we had to get it done.
On a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what?
I kind of think it's either the 12th or the 13th. It's
Monday or
Tuesday
Tuesday?
Next week.
That's what I run into, is Monday and Tuesday.
I'll find out for sure and let
If
you
you
two
can't-
know, and you two can decide.
If you can't, I'll do it.
Monday and Tuesday's my problem.
You're
I'm here by
or
at my
Marty.
store by myself.
So I might have an issue with Tuesday if it's the active one.
Let me know.
Okay.
Next year I have 2 seats.
I emailed you guys, I thought, what date?
Tuesday.
Can you look?
Whole Cedars on Effort on the 13th. Okay.
The 14th is Upton's
It is.
presentation.
Okay.
Wednesday.
It's on the same day. Both of them are on the same day.
Oh, so it's a Wednesday? Oh, I'm good with Wednesday.
Okay. So,
Never mind.
just, if something comes up, I
will.
just don't want to be vertigo up on the stage. If that's
Good.
Oh, yeah, I'll just run up.
Everybody gets lunch. Quick.
I'll go get a gut bomb.
The new store. This is the one-stop shop. We have a pharmacy. We have a bootlegger's liquor. The deli, the food that you can get at a lunchtime is so amazing. The coffee shop. Certain Friday mornings, there's 30 people sitting here in all these chairs. This is the hub for people to come and visit, have their coffee, have their donuts. It's amazing what this area has done. Totally amazing.
What?
Call the meeting back to order at 2 o'clock. Ish, I have it right on the notes. Treasurer's investment discussion.
Thank you for giving us all that.
That lets you know where all the money is.
Sorry.
Bang, bang.
Wake up. Do not feel asleep.
Oh, no, that was during the first part of the.
Okay. That's fell asleep. This is fell asleep.
I got my commissioner nap in already.
Treasure.
Question on these, like this First Northern Bank one.
Which one? The road or the general?
Road account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dispatch, Newcastle 128.
Your butt's talking.
When you do like a transfer brought in from like the general fund, like towards the bottom down there,
Yes.
how come, what would be like an instance of that $5,662? I know you probably not something you remember doing right off the top of your head, but,
No, it is a question. It's probably interest, but I should have put interest. I could go back and look.
that's just not.
I can see that is from,
Yeah,
that is from up, the 10 of 24, it should have been up in the middle of it, so I must have missed that. See where up and above, up the 11th line down, there was a 10 of 24.
oh, yeah.
So this probably should have been moved up to there, but I didn't move it up there. Or I thought I was doing everything done, and I didn't finish. But I can go back and look if you want me to.
Yeah, it's not important right now. I'm just trying to get an idea of
Yeah.
what caused it.
Or that might have been that there was some money in there from the, what happens when that county road fund money comes in from the state? It hits the general fund and I have to move it out of the general fund into the road account, so, because they're two different funds, so that might be some of that.
And this wild class is it road money too.
That wild class, yes, that 200,000 is road money. I invested that a while ago on in that. And it just kind of sits there.
Do you have a game plan for like the 3,
The 4 CDs that are still in CD form.
yeah, these first aid bank?
They'll probably just go into the, I think they're all general fund. Yeah, they're all general fund, so they'll just get dumped into that general fund money market. Because this bank that over here does not do CDs anymore.
Personal who doesn't do CDs?
No, they want money markets instead. Because when they took over, I tried to do a CD, and Louise calls me and she says, no, we'll need to do money markets now.
So what's the difference?
I don't really know, but this way I get interest monthly instead of when it is due or when it matures.
Oh,
So I get, that's what all this interest is on there, is from the ones I've got in there. So I'm getting this much money interest each month instead of for when I'm one lump sum when it comes matured.
And you can spend out of that,
Yes.
and they're still giving 4% interest.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep, it's a money market, so I can get into it and it's,
No time limit on that, like a CD has, it potentially have a lockdown time frame.
yeah,
the
see,
money
those
market is
4
open.
CDs they aren't gonna be due until November. If I get into them, I could get a penalty, but the bank does not charge me a penalty to get an early withdrawal.
okay.
The money market should be easier in and out.
Yes, yep, the money markets are, they say I can just get into that, and like I said, I do, if there's, I've got the check to the general fund account here that has the 1 million in it. I will, if there gets to be a lot of money in there, I will dump it down into the general fund money market just in order to get that extra interest.
And it's somewhere around that 4% right now.
That's where it's at right now, yeah. It kind of fluctuates, but so does the market.
So, did you ever find out the difference that Nate and I found in the one on the budget had requested amount by the board, and then the other on the county road fund? Did you ever find out?
It was $500,000 difference, so
It was $1 million. Wasn't it $1 million?
No, because I found in the preliminary and then the final, and it was a $500,000 difference from what the preliminary was advertised as, and then the final.
We're talking on that when we were looking at these
Yeah,
budget books.
I looked at what was advertised in the preliminary and then the final. And it was a $500,000 difference, so it was moved somewhere. Probably in Jimmy's,
What was it in it?
account.
It was because that was the interesting thing that happened in the audit.
But
Remember, there was a $600,000
Those top numbers do not affect the budget at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I went and checked the preliminary, what we advertised, and then the final, and it was a $500,000 difference.
So so this is the road, when you put a road account, is that the,
That's county road fund.
kind of maintenance and construction fund? And how many checks do you get? You get a quarterly and a monthly?
I get monthly county road fund. And then I get severance. I think it's quarterly, or direct. It's county road fund severance, that's what it's called. For the county road.
That's monthly? And that one's monthly?
No, that one I think is quarterly. I didn't mark what was what here. I think that was quarterly, because we just got it in like a couple months ago. One day we got the direct, or the county severance, and the next day we got the road severance. Because there's the road severance
Right.
fund and the county, the one, I think that's quarterly, I think.
And do you have a general idea of what that is? Just a general idea of what we get quarterly? Or not necessarily quarterly, in a yearly?
Not right off the top of my head, I do not. I can go back and look.
Oh, we could look in the estimating manual. Do you know if it's as close as it is in the estimating manual?
I don't know, I didn't look. Do you have the Courthouse?
Did you get a copy of that?
Yeah.
The new one?
Came from the WCCA and opened it.
Jeremiah sent it.
Jeremiah.
Do you have an actual one? Cool.
What about when we pull the 100,000 out for the blade? How are we doing that where's that being?
Do you,
That hasn't happened.
so should that go
Because I
up?
haven't been told to do it.
So Susie, would that go up here?
That would,
Go up here?
yes. If
So-
you pull, what you normally do at the end of a budget, whenever you tell me to move money, you tell me to move it from cash reserve to down to depreciation. It does not come out of this one, no. It comes out of one of these. So when you decide to move money at the end of the day, at the end of the thing, you say, okay, we're gonna take money out, 100,000 out of cash and put it in cash reserve. Or we're gonna take 100,000 out of cash reserve and put it down to depreciation reserve. But I need to know that so I can do journal entries
Right.
to get it, to do that, to
Right.
make the fluctuations.
So in, I didn't bring my budget.
What?
I didn't bring my budget. So in your budget book, would you add another line on the top of our budget, up there where these others are, the road account and fuel account, would you add a?
The 100?
The 100,
The
yeah.
100s? Let me go grab that.
We'll just steal Nate's here.
I'll have to make a new account.
That's what I'm saying.
That's mine, so
But I'm just asking for it.
I'll
But she must have to have one too.
She should. Doesn't have an account number to put it in?
To put it in?
She just gives me this one. She gives me those dollars.
Well, what does she have over here? I mean, in her treasurer report.
Talking the hundreds account, like .00.
In hers-
The report that she gives you? Okay.
So she would have one too, wouldn't she?
So the numbers at the top of the, no, of this. So in of the reserve funds, so I have the cash reserve, the depreciation reserve, the county road reserve, the fuel reserve,
And then the road goes up.
so they would like another one.
I have one that adds these.
I have one,
Right, but I'm
2, 3,
confused.
4, but you give me the amount. They want one more, and whatever Marty's asking for.
For the road grader, since we're allowed to take 100,000 out a year, we'd like another one.
You want another account.
We want another reserve account that is specified by statute that we can take 100,000 out.
Yes, Marty showed me that. So if we put it, but these are just cash accounts.
Right,
Do you want it in the cash account or do you want it down into the road fund account?
No, in the cash account, because we're only allowed 100,000 a
Okay.
year.
Can we pull that out of the road?
County road.
We can put it out of the county road fund, but we're only allowed 100 a year.
So I can put another line item here.
See, right now I have the capital improvement up there that we pull out of, and so she's wanting a county.
Yeah, I'm understanding. I'm trying to think of what I'm gonna do here. Okay, so I'm gonna have to make 101.
You guys have to have a motion, that's the treasurer's report. I wanted it put in new business, but you guys just added it to the treasurer.
So
Right here, treasurer investment.
So that's where I'm gonna move, what I'm gonna. Yeah, that's what. I need to make another cash account. And this is only gonna be used for moving the 100,000, where are you moving the $100,000 out of?
County
County
road
road
fund.
fund.
41350, get that back over.
I'm sorry.
So bossy.
Put her in her place.
You want a chip? No, because you're chewing me out.
That's right.
And I am not getting chewed up. You are. Oh, you have a chip? Yep, I'll say, so this is gonna be yours.
I'm just gonna say her name is
It's for a
blade
Yeah.
only.
Motor grader.
Is it motor grader or blade?
Either. I just put
And
motor
wood.
grader.
Equipment. Because then that will take care of a grader or a blade equipment.
But it's only one you're allowed.
Yeah,
You're only
I
allowed
put
one.
blade.
I put blade because you're only allowed one.
Well, yeah, but if you buy an
Can't-
equipment, but you
Can't buy a track over
Can't
there.
buy
Yeah.
anything else.
It's only a motor grader.
just a grader. Grader or blade?
A motor grader is a
They're
blade.
blades.
Okay,
Whatever you
one
like,
is it?
Susan.
Whatever you want. Whatever you
I
understand
would be
it to
happy
be.
with either.
That's not a nice word.
That is not even a word.
Good thing we're
I know where I
cameras
got
up
my
above.
spelling from. Because of who's spelling this word. And then, so what are we doing? Removing it from the 41350. And when are we doing this?
We'll do it at budget.
Removing $100,000.
Right now.
Okay, I'll go do it right now. No better than me. Okay. You guys are the boss. Oh, here. Here's your road severance money. $30,000, $30,692.62. And I believe it's quarterly. Did you see that?
Susan, the mine that, is this the only mine that's at Pinnacle Bank? Is this,
Correct.
what's in it?
Money market. Well, one's in a savings and I think one's in a money market.
Yeah, you're right. Pinnacle Savings.
Now, what the hell was that at? I must look up that in a minute.
We're so rich.
These
We're
taxes
so
are
rich.
gas.
Yeah. Well, the other day you said you didn't have any money yet. I said, why are you saying?
I didn't see all this stuff.
You got it. This isn't just be spent.
Hidden money. It's not to be spent without.
So Susie,
Yes, ma'am.
so are we close to the 449 that's just projected for the county road construction and maintenance? And then if you put in, that includes the severance.
Yeah, a road, whatever they
Here,
have.
she's looking in this.
Yeah, she's added, that's added both, so that's the total.
Your what?
Which paper was it?
Investments, I must look at that over there when I
It's in your folder.
Okay. That's just a budget thing.
Okay.
I'll look at that now.
And you just put that in a separate account with the county road maintenance.
Oh, that we get from Jeremiah? That just goes right directly into the 41350.
And when do you decide you're gonna take some of that out and put it in?
These are investments right here, these are already.
This is investment already?
Yep, that's already an investment.
That's your money market.
Yep. And, let's see, on this is your A3 for the budget. My 41350 is this amount right here, that's what's in the budget, that will be in the A3. Anything in yellow is the stuff off of that.
Yeah. That's what you've got.
Is the wild cross stuff, is it tied up like similar to
It's a money market.
it is?
Okay. Still gonna have to work my brain on this.
You understand all this? This was your email.
Yeah, you gave me that email.
I said, did you understand it all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because now you're telling us that you're putting them all into money markets
Correct.
and getting out of those other CDs.
Correct.
So I think one of our questions probably was gonna be, is there higher rates out there? But if you're putting them in a money market and getting 4%, then
Yeah, and
who are we asking then?
yeah, and Louise is, well, not necessary, Louise, but the bank reviews that every 6 months. And will fluctuate the interest.
Okay. I guess we just need to know the stability of where we are, and that's kind of helped us a little better, knowing there isn't 5,000 CDs out there, and which one's road accounts, which one's.
Yeah, I got them.
So you ever put the general fund in a CD?
Yeah, that's what that other paper is. That money market.
Yeah.
And all of these other little ones that are due in November, they are CDs. But
And you put them in general?
they will come out and they will go into the general when in the money market.
Do you anticipate leaving the one at first tier?
Up and Upton?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they can give you a good rate.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good rate.
Because I make them, I don't make them, I guess. I ask them when that comes due, I says, okay, I says, so what rates you got? And she says, well, she'll have like, I think this was at 4 something for 7 months. I says, okay, we just dump it all back in there.
Yeah, I don't mind having. That's what I'm gonna have.
So do you think when we take that 100,000 out every year, because that's all we're allowed, you could dump that into one and we could watch that one grow and maybe that one goes to first tier?
No good.
I mean, just
You mean
because it has to be a separate account.
all separate account, yes. So it was a separate cash account. Is what, so we're gonna pull that $100,000 out of the road fund like we did many moons ago.
We used to do it for
Many moons
for
ago.
culverts and
We used to do it for
Wings,
Blades
yeah.
when
No.
Shepperson was here.
we're never allowed blades.
Well, whatever he was, we would do it every 5 years or 4 years, we would buy whatever he was buying when we dumped that in there.
Yeah, we would take the full out. Well, we couldn't.
Gravel.
Gravel, we took
We
500.
needed it.
We always took
We
gravel
couldn't
out.
use it because it was locked up.
Yep,
It was
gravel. But if there's a time and only an amount we can have out of for that blade, she certainly could invest that first 2 or
I can take
three.
$100,000 out of the road right now and put it in a money market in first year, if that's where you want it.
I just was wondering if you could open it and encumber it
Yeah, I can.
and just keep adding to it.
I can, and then it's gonna grow interest.
But yeah, you can put in that CD, it's just 7 months.
Right.
You can't buy a blade for
I can put
100,000.
another CD, get one CD for itself, and then every 7 months it'll throw me interest, and I'll just keep adding to it.
I don't want to make the bookkeeping on you, but I mean, if you have to wait, we have to wait 4 years.
But at least you're
Oh,
gonna
wait.
get it.
Can you gain interest on?
Yeah, she just has to put the interest in the same account.
Back into the same.
Back
Yeah,
into the
because
same
it
place
says
where.
on that report.
And then at one point in time, we had a checking account up at First Year.
Mm-hmm.
And all the residents of Upton were able to pay their taxes. And then it was just dumped into that account. Well, however, the bank called us maybe about a year ago now and said that they do not want that liability anymore and they will not accept our money anymore. So when this last CD came due, I had whatever money was in there and I dumped it into that CD. So it's all. And the reason I did that is now I'm making interest on it before I was not.
What did they think the liability was on your
I don't know,
taxes?
that manager or whatever he is up there, he just said, we just do not want that liability anymore, keep taking somebody else's money or something like that. And I said, okay, no problem.
You know, we used to be able to pay like our Black Hill Light, our bills there too, and they took that away.
They took that away?
You still pay the town out to bill there?
Yeah, but our relationship with them is changing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since it got under new management.
Because they're like a pass-through is what they become.
That's very interesting. Okay.
So, we need to do the treasurer's report.
Okay. Where is it?
Right
Oh, you have it?
here.
There it is.
Here.
Oh, you'll notice if you do look at your treasurer's cash report, there are several accounts that we're waiting for reimbursements on still. But, some of them are,
This one?
yes. You should have them, or had one of them in your.
They did.
We
They
do.
all have copies, but this
We
is
do.
the one they need to sign.
We're just signing this one.
Yep.
After it's approved.
Bingo. So give us a clue.
Take a look. Ooh, that's the Boca. They're always really slow. WIC is continuing. That, I don't worry about WIC. The next one is going to be this one.
Ow. Gilbert, can you tell us why it takes so long to get reimbursements from Homeland Security?
Because it froze up right now.
Is that because what?
Are they froze up right now?
They're not froze.
Yeah, but they're like.
They were slow at things, but I think we should only be waiting on one. The
It's 72 grand
54,000.
here.
Okay, so the 54,000, there won't be reimbursed till FEMA reviews the. It's up to at FEMA level right now because of I can't remember the terminology, but when you have to do all the.
Thank you.
Check the ground disturbance and check with all the historical data and all that kind of stuff to make sure it's kosher before they approve everything. So.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
Glad you did. You are approving to sign those.
That's what I am. I move to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
You're not going to get any more checks.
No,
A motion to move the properly seconded to approve the treasurer's report. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No no's?
Only the nose knows. Smile, you're on candy.
Huh?
Smile, you're on candy.
Oh.
At least you understand that joke. There'll be a time nobody does.
That's sad.
Susie, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate
And we'll keep it. We'll
Are
keep
you,
it up.
are you good with all of it?
I'm happy that they're going to those money markets, that they can be.
I feel better about the money markets,
Yeah, because I can get into them whenever I.
Right.
and that interest rate is much better than what you were doing.
What I was doing, yeah, and if I could have, in these 4 that are left, I mean, I could dump them now, but might not get a penalty because, the bank's changed.
Things have changed a little bit with those CDs. The only way you could get the interest rate was if you locked it up for a certain time period, but that's.
You can't even do that anymore because it's better to do a money market or a short term kind of up at that
It's like Tracy Hunt.
like the first year, like up at first year, I'm locked in up there, but it's only 7 months. Where these, I think these have been out several years.
Well, I think it's smart on both ends because the banks are encouraging the investments so they can use the monies and it's coming back on the investor, so it's good for both ends.
And that's why we're out with Pinnacle Bank because just approached me and said, hey, I want some of that money.
Did you get those declarations or whatever there? Is that what were from your banks? Don't those come in January or something?
We never got anything to sign.
Got one from the first year a long time ago.
Not signed. Nothing signed.
Here's your clip if you want.
Maybe we need to look in that one, see if we got those.
All right,
Okay, thank you for your time.
thanks, Susan.
Thanks.
And you obviously didn't hear me when I tried to get you back after you sat down. Or did you do?
No, there's too much noise going on over there.
How about going up there and just whisper, Susie? You gotta stick around for this next one?
Yep,
Okay.
this next one involves me too.
Yes, it does. It's your fault.
It is my fault.
She's the one that got me
Sorry.
up here.
I nailed it.
She did.
It's your spot. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'll try to book it.
Oh, don't play that now.
Oh no, we'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Your cameras.
Turn them off. They're probably blurry.
That's
All
no
right.
problem.
Good job, Gilbert.
Well, after some little bit of, I don't know, dilemma and some
Questioning.
questioning and watching camera for, I don't know, about an hour,
Yeah,
we thought it might be better to have better camera coverage over our
counter.
counters. The two counters that take transactions, money transactions. So, for the time being, a cheaper option, maybe like an Alfie or a Simply Safe or something like that, where you can get just the wireless cameras that you can sit on the counter, like on a shelf
Yeah,
or
come to
something,
one computer.
and then you can download the app to a computer or a tablet or something.
Like a ring.
Something like that, yeah. So you can overlook your cash boxes and your cash transactions. And because with our cameras now, even zooming in, the closer you zoom in, the blurrier it gets, and you can't see the
You can't see the
transactions.
transactions.
You can't see the money. And when we were looking for a couple of certain things that we were needing to discover, we couldn't really tell what was going on. So, to find some cheaper options, until maybe my grants come open again, then we can add
Do
some,
something different.
because eventually I would like to switch our camera system over to that Ricotta system that we talked about a few months ago, but that's kind of
What we're kind of thinking, what we're wanting.
yeah.
So we just
Like
need to be okay to get a
Two
camera.
cameras, $30-40 a piece, and then whatever it is the plan is,
One we was looking for.
yeah.
About 179.
Yeah. So, and I talked to Brandon a little bit about it, and he's familiar with some of these. He's done some and installed some and done some different work, so he could probably help with some of that too. So,
You feel confident that, 8-10 feet away, you'll be able to tell the difference between a 20 and a 10?
Yeah,
yeah, and at least be able to tell how much they're counting and
where it's going and what it didn't.
yeah, because we could. It's all
It's really just distorted.
it's distorted and you're facing their back.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's in the, that's what you see. It's the
So if we can put it where it's coming across the counter,
coming down.
at least we have a better shot at it.
Have you, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Have you reviewed, I have Ring
Mm-hmm.
in my store.
Mm-hmm.
I have one in the back room because that's where the theft happens because
Nobody sees
you
you.
can't see the counter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only about 5 foot above, maybe 5, in that general area, right? I don't know, it's the top one. So that's right now, that's live. I don't know if you would be able to see. Yeah, you can't.
You can't zoom in or something.
See, that's what we need to do.
That's why I'm asking
Yeah.
you.
We have to find something that maybe we could zoom and
And you'd be able, but you'd have to be able to do it, because this takes a subscription if you ever want the video. You
yeah,
can have the live,
yeah,
but you have to buy the video.
yeah.
And I'm not sure with this type of ring system that I have, and I'm not sure on your others, you guys can look at it if you want. you're gonna get what you're after without putting the camera right on top of somebody.
Yeah.
Well, we're kind of there anyway.
So, in the clinic in Upton, at the pharmacy, the reason that I think they get away with having a pharmacy up there is they have a designated spot where the person, they don't count all the pills in front of them, but they put the pills in the bottle, it says the prescription, and it sits down on this one area like this. And there's a camera right there that focuses in down, and it's linked to Zoom or whatever to the pharmacist in Newcastle. They ring the bell or whatever, the pharmacist comes over, looks at it, says, looks good. And I assume that's probably recorded somehow. Could you designate, and I know it might hurt your flow through your office, but if you designated one spot for that activity, the transaction of money to take place?
No, because you could have four of us up there at the counter and all of us taking cash or money.
Well, that's what
at
I'm
the
saying,
same
you'd
time.
have to flow it in through
Yeah,
that
and
deal.
I don't think that would work very
And
good.
you don't know that you are short until you're trying to
that
balance
night.
at the end of the night.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it'd be recorded.
Yeah, so we'd have to have the video, and then if we have an issue, I mean, we might not ever look at it. But we might look at it every day. You don't know.
Yeah, it was just a thought to bring to you guys, just for something that, and then there's days that Susie's the only one here and she has to go to the bathroom and somebody else is, running the office, or, hey, I'm running the bathroom, can
Watch my office.
And it's, I don't know, it's just something to bring to you guys and something to think about. It's just an idea, so.
We almost need one. You need one in your corner, facing your counter, and I need one in my corner, facing my counter. And then we can zoom in if we need to.
That's what I was just gonna, I'm sorry.
And I want it to go like, where the bookshelves is. I just let that sitting right up there, and I don't get to use it.
Well, no, over there, like, right by where your printers are.
Yeah.
So that it's
that way.
facing the entire counter.
Well, this one would too, wouldn't it, Gilbert?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But, I mean, a long-term solution, if we could put another camera in that corner.
Another real camera.
Yeah. So.
Do you remember when you texted me one day and said I can read everything on your computer?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is this camera is capable. She could read my emails.
Yeah.
From where?
From
where you're sitting. From where you're sitting.
From there.
Yeah, from where you're sitting.
So you're thinking of getting a bigger and better one later on.
Yeah, I mean, if we could put something long-term down the road, once money's available, or once the grants open up, then I can put in that, and then Verkada's, I think, camera system is even better.
Then we can add the
Then we can add
the ceiling cameras.
Yeah, this is a short-term solution. If that's even something you guys are even wanting to do, this is just bringing it to your attention and something to think about. But long-term, we need to add better coverage to the
So
council.
you count as what we have already.
What is the cost for Charles?
I can ask Charles to do that, to add 2 more cameras.
Yeah, I can ask him too how much 2 more would cost.
I mean, just because.
I just know the money is short right now, and I don't want to.
But my Zooms in my store, even though I've told people that I have rings, you could reach up and tear it off and put it in your pocket.
Oh yeah.
No stopping anybody from doing
And
it.
these, the ones I was looking at, are just, they kind of look like that in a way, but they just will sit on top of a.
Well, yeah, and all that junk up there on that counter anyway, you probably never noticed it.
You just need to clean it.
What? I need to get rid of it, it's all license plate crap, I ain't getting rid of it.
I was just thinking short-term solution until we come up with funds for a long-term solution. But, yeah, if we want to talk to Charles now and see what it would cost to add 2 more cameras, and if we can add them to our current system.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
I think there's also a dual purpose here, and the interesting thing is the times that we're in with property taxes and everything. It'd also be nice, I know that we still have the camera system that we do, but if it's fuzzy enough that you can't necessarily always figure, it'd be nice to have some facial type of if anything should happen. I mean, only helps our legal system.
Well, that was the argument with the detention center over here, there was no protection from that big bill you saw over there.
Right.
Those guys had no video protection over there, so it was kind of a no-brainer that it wasn't a good deal if something happened over there and there was no video of what was taking place.
The good thing about our system now, it's all recorded, and we were able to go back to that day and those times and look at every cash transaction for those that day. But the unfortunate thing is we couldn't tell which one possibly could be the one where something was short. So, or long, or I mean, or whatever. So, but it's just something to think about.
So why don't we visit with Charles and just see what that costs, and then maybe Becky can give us an idea, and if you want to look at, get the costs of your other system that you're thinking about, and if they're remotely close, and that might be a better option just to go that route. But
I think the better is to actually have something fixed, long term, and talking to Charles. I mean, but money wise, I just didn't know where you guys would want to go.
Do you have any idea, like ballpark wise, what one of those would run?
The cameras are probably. I would hate to even guess right now.
The ones from Charles?
Yeah.
They're gonna be more than what you were considering.
Oh yeah, quite a bit, and then labor and everything.
And then you get to get the electricians or whatever, whoever has to run the wires and it's time.
Well, like the Ring was cool because I can put it on live and I can watch. So when I have people go in the back and I'm in the front, I can put that on top of the cash register and I can watch their every move. I can also talk to them and say, hey, what's going on? Mm-hmm. Which is really kind of cool. You don't necessarily need that, voice function.
So we have Ring at the church, and I can Zoom off of that one.
You can Zoom yours.
Yeah, but we have the subscription and the storage and all that as well. And I can Zoom clear over from our front door, clear over to the Delaware Apartments.
So over to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how clear, on reading things, but I consume quite a bit. So I think it's just maybe find the right thing to do.
We know what the subscription is.
Figure out what it costs and get it to us next meeting. Put them on under old business, I guess.
And then put in invisible income.
Great to leave.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were wondering if we could talk with Gilbert here about that. We're close to the time.
Yeah.
Since Gilbert's here, if we could talk about the MOU for combined communications, joint powers board,
the dispatch stuff.
Yeah. So I talked to Gilbert a little bit more about it, and I didn't understand the last time we had this discussion exactly what the whole deal was. So I don't know if you could explain it better than I could.
So basically, there's no need for an MOU because if the Joint Powers Board ever was to dissolve, it would come right back to me anyways. That generator would, because the current agreement is any equipment bought for joint dispatch, the agency or whatever that got it or paid for it, that equipment goes back to them. Agreement is any equipment bought for joint dispatch, the agency or whatever that got it or paid for it, that equipment goes back to them. So, and I wrote the grant on behalf of the Joint Powers Board. So basically I'm gifting that generator to them. I wrote it for them.
that generator goes to the Joint Powers Board. That was written for, let's see, the cost of the generator and installation. The Joint Powers Board will be responsible for everything else. For the cage, for the platform, for monthly maintenance, for anything else. Because I don't want any other kind of responsibility with it. So, the Joint Powers Board, it's just like when I get the siren for Upton, when I got the siren, it's their siren. The only responsibility I'll have for it is helping schedule the yearly maintenance for it. When I get radios for anybody else, I write the grants on behalf of these agencies, for these agencies, to help them. So when I talked to the sheriff, and that's how he felt about it, this is, if they dissolve, the Joint Powers Board goes to put it's coming back to me anyways. There's really no need for an MOU. So that's when we sat down with Michael last week and kind of tried to explain how it was. And then what would I do with the generator anyways? It's going to be installed and hooked up over there. So
I think the conversation though that we heard was part of it, that the city was gonna have some part of it and the county. I mean, what I heard was.
It will run that whole building.
Right, and I also heard that in that conversation that perhaps if the city needed it for whatever, they could tap into it too. That's what I was after.
It will run that whole building, but it's for the Joint Powers Board.
Right, so if, what my thing is if somebody feels they need to tap into it, I'd like to have an MOU, because what we were discussing is maintenance for it and license fees or whatever. That was the conversation we got, that other people were gonna tap into it. I didn't understand. Yeah.
So if it's the Joint Powers Board's generator, it's their responsibility. It's gonna be theirs, and the city taps up to it. That's up to the Joint Powers Board.
Is there a for a billing mechanism, like for fuel usage and stuff?
It's gonna be up, all that fuel, all that's up to the Joint Powers Board. They're gonna buy the fuel. If they decide that it's gonna be a dual fuel generator, if they decide to end up hooking up the propane side to it, they're gonna have to pay for it. If they want the city to help pay for it, that's gonna be up to the Joint Powers Board. If they decide that generator comes back to me, I'm gonna give it to the city. Because what am I gonna do with it? I mean,
I've asked you to do with it a couple times.
yeah. I mean, go and strip it off their building and pay the money and strip it off that building, and I'll put in. I'm already working with Rick's Electric on what to do here.
So just, maybe I'm being ridiculous here, but say the city taps into it for a week straight, and the Joint Power Board gives them to go ahead, and then next year I see my bill to the Joint Powers Board is increased by X amount of dollars, and who might have known not to know that they've had to increase it because they've been letting the city run off of their dime on fuel or things like that. I guess
I don't know why they would have to run off the generator.
That's why we got it right, in case we had to.
If there was an emergency, the emergency is an emergency. I mean,
yeah, I get it, but
that's where I'm at. That's where the sheriff's at. So I mean, that's if there has to be an MOU, I guess, and what the sheriff had said, if there has to be an MOU, it needs to be with the Joint Powers Board, not the city. So, because that's who it was purchased, not purchased for, but who it was. The grant was written on behalf of. I mean, in the future, what I can do is let Upton and the Joint Powers Board and the fire departments write their own grants, and then we don't have to. I write the grants on behalf of everybody, so they don't have to, and it's a better flow.
But they're reimbursable grants, am I correct?
They're all reimbursable, and they all come back.
So is the city going to reimburse, or are we reimbursing?
We're reimbursing this one because I wrote the grant. But in the future, I can say, well, Daniel, I mean, if you want radios, you can write the grant, and you can handle all the paperwork, and
But in the future, he can be like, well, it's not worth the time, and then we won't get the necessary equipment.
But you understand where we're coming
I
from.
do.
And if it's coming through us as a fiduciary grantor, that's going to be reimbursed, then when you say you're just going to give it to the city, what do you think we start doing? Wait a minute.
But that's kind of what my job.
We threw the loan out.
The state threw the loan out. The feds threw the loan out.
If we got reimbursed, which if you'll notice over here, we're not getting reimbursed very quickly.
But you get reimbursed from the state. I mean, you always get reimbursed. The feds threw the money out. It's a Homeland Security grant. So the feds give the money, and it's my job to go out and get the grants and do this stuff. So if the city asks me to go get a generator for their building, I'm going to go get a generator for their building. If Upton asks me, or any of these other entities ask me to get a grant for them, I'm going to try to get a grant for them. I'm not biased just for the county. I'm not just trying to do something just for Weston County. I'm here to try for every single entity and response. That's what I'm trying to do. Whether it's for the city, the Newcastle Police Department, or the Upton Volunteer Fire Department, or whatever. And I usually just write the grants to help them so they don't have to. If I got to start making them write the grants, so we don't have to run into, run through Weston County's, books, then I'll make them do that. But it comes from the feds. It's the feds' money. You get reimbursed.
Maybe the confusion is the content of the MOU. Maybe the MOU content needs to be more focal on, we did the paperwork on the grant and this generator is now in the possession of them. Maybe that's the MOU rather than us having possession of that generator or whatever.
As long as the city's stance is as long as if I write the grant and I get something, as long as that piece of equipment serves its purpose and I decide I can do whatever I want with it. As long as I get a piece of paper to them saying, like a few years ago, my predecessor got, I think, 12 Class A hazmat suits, and they sat down here for years. And they're brand new, they're used once for training. And I asked the state, what can I do with them? As long as they're used for this purpose, you can do whatever you want with them. So I donated them. I gave them to the refinery. As long as I gave the state a letter what I did with them, they're happy. As long as it's used for its purpose, as long as that generator is hooked up and used for its purpose, that's all that matters.
So what about all that dispatch equipment that we bought? Can you dispose of that without anybody else's?
As long as it was used for its purpose, and did we let the state know?
Interesting.
Or I make the decision to keep it. But it was purchased through Homeland Security with money. Because it all gets reimbursed.
We hope.
It's how it's all been explained to me.
But as we just discovered, we're $76,000 in all right.
Yeah, and it's slowed down because of the one is because it's when you have to, for things like generators, and you have to disturb the ground or something like that, you have to get the historical data, you have to go through the game and fish, you got to do all that. And once that's approved by FEMA, all the requests for reimbursements have been put in. So the $54,000 whatever for that generator, once that's approved, they'll cut the check for their reimbursement. I'm not sure what the other one is for.
Any question?
What paperwork is involved in you transferring the ownership of that generator to the joint dispatch or joint powers?
Just a letter. Yeah.
So that inventory now becomes their inventory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I can just put on their inventory. Lots of times I just keep it on my inventory, and I just ask them to, yep, I still have it, and I'll keep the inventory. just so I know where everything's at. So, but if there needs to be an MOU, it needs to not be with the city, it should be the Joint Powers Board, because that's just gonna be, you know, pushing the fuel, making sure the security cage, putting the platform. They're gonna be ones responsible for upkeep and running it and all that. And if you want an MOU, then that needs to be with them, not the city. So. But I like to do the grants on behalf of everyone else because it's streamlined. I know what everyone's asking for because other counties have run into problems. Like Cook County ran into a problem where Moorcroft asked for one thing on the grant and their EM didn't know, and that equipment didn't speak to this piece of equipment, and it's all streamlined. I know what everyone wants. We communicate, and
You continue, I think you should still continue to look for something for this building.
yeah, I'm working with Rick right now, and what we talked about it. He was here last week, and was trying to work everything into one, all the key components or the necessary emergency stuff into one panel, and then getting a smaller generator. So if we had an emergency, we could keep heat, maybe not our HVAC or cooling and stuff, but heat, keep the server and all that stuff up and going, so we don't have to buy a $40,000 generator.
Yeah, I just see, I understand your thoughts on going to the fairgrounds, but we're not gonna move the vault to the fairgrounds, you know, I mean, it would not be ideal after a couple days, I'm sure of.
No, I mean, that's just, so that's a plan I have to have.
Yeah, I know.
That's a regulated, a state plan that all the EMs have to have as a COOP plan.
But if we have a 4-day blizzard that knocks out the power,
yeah,
we need something for this building.
I have to have one for my office, I have to have one for all the county offices. Where are you gonna go in case you can't operate for a short amount of time or a couple of days? Well, then I would go over here, the courthouse would have to go out there, and then, you know, if you're uninhabitable for a short minute, we have to have a continuing of operations plan. So you may not want to do it, but for a short amount of time, that's something. At least we have a plan for it in case we have to. The generator is the prime. I mean, would be the best thing, the best option. So, and my grants, I'm sure will be opening up soon. They're anticipating it. The last email I got was, we haven't heard a word, but get your poop in a group. So, get your quotes, get your stuff ready. So, things have just slowed down, you know, while they were in administration.
I'm still okay with an MOU with the Joint Powers Board in Weston County. If the city wants to have one with them, it's just the understanding I got, and perhaps I misunderstood, but what I heard you say was somewhere along the line, city was going to tap into that. So if
they can't.